Hey everybody, Donnie here. Found out my wife of 6 years is cheating on me, so I'll become a chemical weapon before delivering divorce papers. Title is kind of self explanatory. Found out after going through her phone, she's cheating on me for almost a year already and with multiple partners. Sucks to be me. But I have most things settled up as I am already in touch with a couple of lawyers as to get my options, as we have a prenup that covers certain assets as well as custody issues, as I also found proof of stuff that would allow me to pursue full custody of our kids. So, no worries at the relationship front, as it's a sunken ship already. I'm just keeping quiet to buy time to get the best result at our divorce. The thing I need to get out of my chest is that I'm planning a petty revenge to at least get her punished. Since this opportunity window is so good, I'd say that karma itself is giving me a chance to get her. Our kids got the flu and allergies. They currently can't smell nothing. Also, we just sent the couch to clean and it'll only come back tomorrow. So, we will end up having to sleep at the same bed. And that's how I'm planning my revenge. I'm going to abuse that. As for the last 36 hours, I changed my whole diet, eating over a dozen eggs, cabbage, bean stew, chili, steamed sweet potatoes, and tons of red meat and other stuff. Foods I enjoy, but I do consume in moderation, as all of them gets me with gas issues as they make me fart a lot, and those carry sometimes a stench that even I find mildly unbearable. My future ex, however, is quite sensitive to the smell. Even puking once after a barbecue left me with bad gas. She's currently working right now, so she has no idea on what awaits her as I'm eating without telling her, and I can already feel my stomach twitching. So, looks like it'll be a very toxic night for a very toxic partner. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll have a burrito as well, since I plan on binge eating as much as to get the worst possible karma smell for her. Well, Peep can't judge you at all, and not just because you're not asking for it, but because I think it's great. I think it is actually the perfect window. You've got your ducks in a row, she doesn't know the papers are coming, and she can't sleep on the couch. Now, apart from all of that, I hope that divorce proceedings do not become messy, particularly for the kids, and that you get what you deserve. Other than that, stink away. What do you guys think about OP's reaction? Let me know in the comments section. And now, let's check out the community comments. Block 444 Universe says, while this all sounds very satisfying, and I am all for the gassy revenge, the bit where you said I can get full custody of the kids alarmed me. By all means, take revenge on your cheating wife. But seriously, don't effing use your kids for that. Your job is to put them first in all matters. And what they need is for them not be traumatized by being fought over and used as pawns in your dirty fist fight. So, if you think that it's the best for their mental and physical well-being for you to get custody, by all means, go through with it. But if you're only doing this out of pettiness, go F yourself. Your children aren't chess pieces. You do not wage war on their backs. You do not cut them off from their mom or make it difficult for them to see her. You do not create drama while they can overhear or be negatively impacted by it. They will go through enough without you making it extra messy for their mom. Wake up and be a good dad first and foremost. If that means she walks away easier than you would like, so be it. Your top priority are the children, and that needs to stay that way indefinitely. You don't get to satisfy your rage through them. And Opie responds, my children will not be affected. As I told, they have runny noses and can't smell a thing, so they won't be affected a single bit. They are my priority. That's why I'm dragging the delivery of divorce and posting as a fool until I can be sure to divorce their mother in a way that is also in their best interest. The issue about custody. I'll apologize, but I can't reveal further. Just that I found out more stuff than the cheating, and I'm working with my lawyers and how to use that to get full custody, as it's for my children as well. Fatboy Chester says, I hope you end up farting so much you will propel yourself off the bottom of the bed. She definitely deserves that. But if your wife is a good mom, please don't punish the kids to punish her. Share custody so they can have a good life with both parents. I know a guy who tried to destroy his wife and even brought false charges against because he was so pissed off at her, and their once happy kids are still a mess a year and a half later. Please don't destroy your kids for their sake. And Fire or Water, Kai says, I have never wanted an update about farts as much as I do now. Well, the community agrees. As long as it doesn't affect the kids, fart away and don't use them in the whole divorce process, which I absolutely agree with. So, now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Well, I've read most comments, and since most asked for an update, I'll provide after answering some questions. 1. The children are definitely mine. They are carbon copies of me down to a birthmark we all have that is exactly the same. Also, the youngest was born a few years before any cheating happened. I went over the last 2 years of texting, and the cheating and bad stuff started only around a year ago. 2. As for the custody issue, I consulted with 4 different lawyers. All of them agreed that the issues I found besides the cheating are grounds for me to pursue full custody. So, I picked the one who my gut told me it did give me the best results. She's already working on the case, and the papers will be delivered once we have all bases covered. But at the moment, I'm not in a hurry. As if even in the worst case scenario where the situation quickly spiraled down, it would just make the divorce easier. 3. As far as the kids dealing with the divorce, they are actually avoiding their mother. I noticed them doing it a few months ago. That's when I had the gut feeling and snooped and found it all. I just messaged my own therapist if she has anyone she could refer me to so they can fully navigate the issue. But right now, as said before, is not an emergency. If the situation calls for it, I'm as best as I can prepared for it. And 4, for the ones questioning my couch being sent out to be cleaned, well, it had tons of stains and grease. Also, 3 very energetic children. It's hard for the cleaning staff to work with them as they love to run around while we're cleaning. In the end, I paid an extra fee and they took the couch to their workshop and delivered a clean couch today. But honestly, I'll be happy if it stays clean for more than a week. But let kids be kids. Now, into the update. The night was pretty eventful. My children could not smell, thank God, but they could listen to the symphony. Their laughs to the funny sounds I made were lovable. I blamed a dish that started smelling funny. My wife had some for lunch and dealt with stomach pain, so she not even suspected I deliberately filled the gas chamber. As for the night, she puked a few times, basically until her stomach got emptied. At worst, she had to clean the corridors as she could not get to the toilet on time. I went to help her clean only to let loose an unexpected bomb which made her puke again. She ended up sleeping on the floor as she could not stand to even stay in the bathroom. According to her, I soiled the ambient air. As far as my stomach issues, I'm currently working home office, going in person 2 to 3 times per month at most, and I'll probably spend the day working from the toilet bowl, but still feels worth it. I'm not going to dwell into the divorce proceedings as I'm currently working on getting evidence of her issues to go for full custody. So far, my children are safe, so I can pretend to be the fool who's constantly getting cheated on. As long as my children's well-being is not threatened, I have no need to hurry. Well, you got your revenge. It apparently was everything you were expecting, and now you're focusing on your kids. So, here's wishing you that everything goes well with what you need to do. Take care, Opie, and thanks for sharing. And now, let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit, Am I the A-hole? And it's by user deleted. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my roommate's new emotional support cat live in our no-pets apartment? So, I, 26 female, live in a 2-bedroom apartment with my roommate Lily, 27 female. When we moved in 6 months ago, we both agreed on a strict no-pets policy, which is also in our lease. I'm allergic to cats, which Lily knew about, and it's one of the reasons we picked this place. Last week, Lily brought home a cat, saying it's her new emotional support animal that she got from a friend. She just showed up with it out of nowhere and said, "It's not a pet, it's a medical necessity, so the no pet rules doesn't count." She didn't even talk to me about it first. The cat has already been making my allergies flare up. I told Lily, I get that she might need support, but the lease says no pets and my allergies are really bad. I suggested she find the cat a new home or move out if she needs the cat that badly. She got super defensive and said I was invalidating her mental health needs and called me cruel for making her choose. She's refusing to budge and just letting the cat roam around. Am I the a-hole for sticking to the no pet rules even though she says it's for her mental health? No, Opie, of course not. It's on the lease. Also, I get that it might be for her mental health, but where are the papers that back that? You know, a doctor's diagnosis and all the paperwork that goes with an emotional support animal. If you've got mental health issues, you can't just get a pet from a friend and call him your support animal. That's not how that whole process works. So, if I were you, I'd tell her to get all her paperwork straightened out because the landlord's going to hear about this and he's going to probably want to see that or either the cat or both move out. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section. And now, let's check out the community comments. Pristine Local 8176 says, "Not the a-hole." Lee says, "No pets. You have allergies." She's weaponizing her mental health to force you into letting the cat stay. If she really needs the cat that badly, she can move and go through whatever process there is for an emotional support animal and get her own place. I say all of this as a cat lover. I have, too. I'd never move in with someone and expect them to just suffer and deal with it. Sudden Waltz 3160 says, "Depending on where you live, emotional support animals can't have legal protections, assuming she has a note from a medical or mental health professional, which is generally easy to get. I don't know how that works when stacked up against a roommate with pet allergies, but I would look into the local laws before acting, as you may open yourself up to litigation if you are not careful. And no, that isn't fair. But fair and legal don't always line up." LV Borzo says, "OP, not the A by a mile. Here's what I would do. I would go to your doctor and get a note certifying your extreme allergy to cats, stating that you cannot live with one. Tell Lily you are meeting with the landlord and have a note from your doctor certifying you extremely allergy and asking that you be released from the lease to find an apartment that meets your medical needs." And Catcher says, "Okay, she can't just move her pet into a no pets leased apartment simply by calling it an emotional support animal. She has to provide documentation from a mental health provider that an emotional support animal is necessary. No documentation. Landlord is not required to accommodate her. Just report her to the leasing office and ask the leasing office about transferring to a one-bedroom apartment." Well, the majority of the community agrees. OP is not the a-hole. So, now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Thanks to everyone who commented on my original post. I wanted to give an update since things have developed a bit. After I posted, I tried one more calm conversation with Lily. I told her I wasn't trying to be mean, but my allergies had gotten so bad that I couldn't even sit on the couch without sneezing non-stop. I also mentioned that our lease clearly says no pets unless we have written permission, and neither of us had that. She doubled down and said that because it's an emotional support animal, the landlord legally has to allow it. I told her that's not exactly true without proper documentation and that even then they'd need to provide reasonable accommodation for both of us. She got annoyed and accused me of trying to find loopholes to control her. At that point, I contacted the landlord myself. I explained that Lily had brought in a cat and that I was allergic. The landlord wasn't happy. They said there was no record of an approved emotional support animal and that animals aren't allowed without prior approval. They offered to mediate if we both came to the office. When Lily found out I've told the landlord, she was furious. She said I went behind her back and that I should have supported her instead of snitching. I told her, this isn't about loyalty. It's about my health. And following the lease, we both signed. Long story short, the landlord gave her two options: provide valid emotional support, animal paperwork, and proof from a licensed mental health professional, or remove the cat. She couldn't provide the paperwork. She admitted later that she didn't actually get the cat through any formal process. The landlord gave her a week to either move out or remove the cat. She ended up moving out a few days ago and took the cat with her. Things were tense until the end, but it's finally quiet and I can breathe normally again. I honestly feel bad that it came to this, but I also feel like I made the only decision I could. I wasn't trying to punish her or undermine her mental health. I just physically couldn't live with the cat. So, I guess everything's settled now, even if it ended awkwardly. Well, P, she was given all the choices there were. She either presented the paperwork, she couldn't produce that. She either homed a cat somewhere else, she didn't want to do that. Only option is to move out. And now you can breathe again. So, here's wishing you the best, OP, and thanks for sharing. Take care. And now, let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user relative salad 1409. Daycare wants my office to park in our reserved spaces while they use ours too. We did. My partner and I own a small 8-person company that shares a building with only a daycare. Our company consists almost exclusively of higher-level professionals, a couple of lawyers, CPAs, etc. So, most have their own large office, plus a couple of common areas, conference rooms, a nice kitchen. All in all, it's about 3,500 square feet, which is obviously a lot for 8 people, but necessary for our line of work. Due to the size of the office, the lease has a parking provision which grants us exclusive rights to all 24 parking spots. This is somewhat important to the story, not to our work. We only need 8+ clients. Also important is the daycare's parking lot only consisting of about 10 spots in front of the building. The parents would use our lot to drop off, as the daycare's lot would be mostly full with their staff's cars, and even some of their staff would park in our lot. I didn't mind at all. We had over a dozen empty spots each day, and it was nice to have the mostly happy children around in the mornings and afternoon until a month ago. I started coming in a bit later at the same time as daycare drop-off. Our lot was crazy with parents, kids walking and parking, so I used their lot like they have done with ours for years. First day, no issue. Second day, the manager saw me get out and gave me a piercing stare. A week later or so, I did it again and my car was towed. Not a warning or word from the manager or anyone at the daycare to me or our office. I went to the daycare to ask if they knew it was my car. It is a very distinctive old blue truck, and if some kind of mistake had been made, the manager came out and said it was not a mistake. And in a very rude, demeaning tone, her exact words were along the lines of, "Unfortunately, we can't have the liability of non-staff and parents within our lot. And I'm sure the parents don't appreciate having to walk further either, or an unknown adult like you in the lot." She looks me up and down. And I'm a totally normal-looking 30-year-old male, I think. At least. She continued with, "Don't you have some reserved spots in the back? You should really park there and let us park here." With an eye roll, she walked off. I was happy I held my tongue in front of the children, considering how effing angry I was, knowing it was not the time for that conversation. A couple days later, I told the manager while we were outside the office that I wished she would have come to me before towing my car and costing me $600. I asked for an apology. Then I said that since we share the back lot and the parents take up almost all of our spots in the morning and afternoon, can I park in the front lot the occasional mornings? The timelines align. She flatly said no and basically gave me the same speech she gave last time, at least not commenting on my appearance this time. I left things for a week thinking it was over until again I had nowhere to park one morning, having to wait 10 minutes for parents to filter out of our lot lest my car be towed, and who do I see but the manager getting a spot in my lot before me even. I decided to comply with the manager's wishes then and developed a plan. I contacted the building owner and said, or more accurately lied, that due to compliance reasons with the state license we're applying for, we need to have a gate installed with employee guest pass access only on our parking lot. Our company would of course cover the cost. Same day approval from landlord installed 2 weeks later. I drove in early that first day after install. I tell you, the mayhem was well worth it. Watching from the corner window gave me a perfect view of it all. It started with daycare staff pressing all sorts of keys on the gate to try and get in, trying to park where they have for months, years even. Then their lot filled up completely. Parents started arriving. A staff member had to stand at the gate telling parents there was now no access. Their parking lot was basically congested with parents double parked taking their children in. Other parents parked a quarter-mile down in another lot at the park our office overlooks. I eventually went down to give the manager a nice little wave and walked back up to my office. She gave me a piercing stare that just made me grin ear to ear. I guess she sent the owner a rather angry email about parking rights to the backlow afterwards and how it's crazy one small office gets the entire thing. Apparently, she did not know we had all of it. He said him and I have to discuss the parking provision in the future, and he also did not know the lease gave the entire backlog, but it's not a big deal to him. Not sure why he let me put the gate in. Regardless, I still have 2 years left on my lease with another option to extend an additional 5. So, no plans on moving anytime soon from the office or my 24 parking spots. P.S. It's an office building next to a park and residential homes. I'm in no way endangering these children since they now walk through a quarter-mile of grass and playground to get to daycare. There's not even a street to cross from that lot. If anything, I made the days of the employees and parents better in retrospect. Actually, not sure employees can park in the playground lot for that long. Well, Opie, she demanded that you keep things separately, but she didn't want to follow her own rules, so you just made it very clear that you agreed with her. Good for you. Thanks for sharing, OP, and that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So, here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also don't forget to hit that subscribe button.